Welcome to this overview of San Jose Unified School District's Student Success Team for elementary schools. The purpose of the Student Success Team, also known as the SST team, is to develop a plan to support students that are struggling in a variety of areas. The goal is to provide interventions that are data-driven, meaning that they are research-based and use various measures of progress to identify ways to help and target specific needs. SSTs are also a way to extend the conversation beyond the classroom walls and allows parents to contribute to the plan and strategies that are being developed to support their child. A few quick notes for clarification. The interventions provided through the SST process are not special education services. SST interventions will be provided by the classroom teacher or an intervention specialist supporting the teachers. Not all students receiving extra help in school will be referred through the SST process. Academic progress is the primary reason why students are referred to the SST process. Students that are working 1 or more years behind grade level or demonstrate a need that significantly impacts learning may be referred to the SST process. English learner students that are newcomers will not be referred for an SST within their first year of being in the U.S. school system. After a year, if there are significant academic concerns, they may be referred. Behavioral needs and concerns may also be discussed in the SST. Students for whom behavior challenges are disrupting their learning or the learning of others may be referred for an SST to identify additional supports to help get them back on track. Attendance may be discussed if that appears to be a factor impeding the child's learning. An attendance goal may be developed to help maintain positive school attendance so the student can receive the help they need. Health needs that impact student attendance, focus, etc. may be discussed and proactive strategies will be identified. Students for whom a health impairment is impacting academics may also be referred for a 504 plan. If a 504 plan is developed, the student can still receive support through the SST process. This is an overview of the SST process timeline over the course of the school year. Asterisks indicate meetings where the parent is invited to attend. Parent attendance is key to the process because it provides their insight into the student's strengths, progress, and further needs that may not always be evident at school. Schools will typically accommodate parent participation by phone or WebEx if an in-person meeting does not work for the family. Interpretation services will be provided as needed. The initial meeting occurs in November during elementary report card conferences and involves the teacher and parent or parents. Teachers meet with every family during the conferencing period, so if needed, teachers will also discuss the SST referral for any students they are recommending for the process. The teacher fills out the referral form, which includes student data to support the referral. At the conference, the teacher gathers additional information from the parent, such as strengths of the student, concerns the parent may have, and then shares the data and the concerns and needs they have identified. The teacher notifies the parent that an SST will be started for their child to provide them extra help. The teacher and parent sign to acknowledge the discussion and the referral. After the meeting, the teacher informs the school's SST coordinator that the process has been started for the student. Following the conference, the November SST meeting is the next step. The SST coordinator schedules a meeting with the teacher and school staff who can best support the student's needs, such as a reading specialist, the school nurse, or a counselor or principal. The team reviews all the information gathered by the teacher, including the parent input from the previous conference. They then select 2 to 3 areas of focus, also known as targeted concerns, that will be included on an intervention plan for the student and how to best provide support for the identified areas, such as in a small group and how many times per day or week the services will be provided. Everything discussed is documented and a copy of the student's intervention plan is sent home to the family. Following the meeting, the teacher and/or school staff begins to implement the interventions and data is collected to determine how they are progressing. This occurs for a period of approximately 6 weeks. In January, the SST coordinator schedules a meeting to review student progress based on the intervention plan. Invited participants will include the same team from the November SST meeting. The team reviews the original concerns and the data compiled during the 6 weeks of intervention. The discussion focuses on whether the interventions are working. If they are working, but the student still needs to make more progress, the team can decide to continue the interventions. If the student has met the desired goal, the team can decide to exit the student from the process. If the interventions are not working, additional interventions are discussed and included into the plan. In some cases, a student may meet their goal, but a new area of concern arises, so the new area and plan will be included for the next cycle of intervention. All discussions and decisions are documented and a copy of the forms are provided to the family. Following the meeting, the teacher and/or school staff continue to implement the interventions and data is collected to determine how the student is progressing. This occurs for another period of 6 weeks. The March meeting is similar to the January meeting. The SST coordinator schedules a meeting to review student progress, and this time will include the parents along with the staff from the January SST meeting. The team reviews the previous concerns and the data gathered during the recent 6 weeks of intervention and discusses whether the interventions are working. If the student has met the desired goal, the team can decide to exit the student from the process. If interventions are not working after 2 cycles of meetings, additional interventions are discussed, along with possible modifications to how the interventions are delivered. For example, the teacher or intervention specialist may decide to work with a student in a much smaller group or in a one-to-one setting. If a new concern arises, it will be included into the plan for the next cycle of intervention. Once again, all discussions and decisions are documented and a copy of the forms are provided to the family. Following the meeting, the teacher and school staff implement the interventions and data is collected to determine how the student is progressing for another period of 6 weeks. In May, the process repeats one more time and once again includes the parent along with the school staff. The team discusses whether the interventions were successful. If so, the student may be exited. If not, the intervention plan may continue into the following school year. The team can also consult with district staff to determine additional next steps, such as seeking consultation from a school psychologist, a 504 plan, or retention. All discussions and decisions are documented and a copy of the forms are provided to the family. If interventions will continue and the student is returning to the same school the following year, the interventions will begin again when students return in the fall. If a student is moving to another school in the district, they will be flagged as having an SST in our system so that the receiving school can provide the necessary support. If the student is leaving San Jose Unified School District, the new school will receive SST documentation when the file is requested, but it is recommended that parents take their copy at the time of enrollment to avoid delays in providing the student the extra support. Students in general education who are struggling will have their needs met through the SST process. When a teacher, intervention specialist, or administrator has concerns with a student's progress, and that student already has an individualized education plan, or IEP, that includes specialized academic instruction such as RSP, SDC, or Autism Resource Program, the student's IEP team must convene and address these concerns through adjustments to the IEP goals or services. When a teacher, intervention specialist, or administrator has concerns with a student's progress and that student has an IEP for speech and language only, these concerns can be addressed first through the SST process. The team must use the SST paperwork to track interventions being offered, and the team will hold an amendment IEP meeting with the student's case manager, in lieu of an SST meeting, to discuss the student's response to the SST process and document that discussion in the IEP meeting notes. Any accommodations listed in 504 plans and IEPs must be provided to students when they are receiving support from any staff as part of their SST plan. Here are the key points presented today. Whenever possible, interventions included in SST plans will be provided to students in their classroom. If not, they will work with an intervention specialist for a short period of time in a separate learning space during the school day. Being referred to an SST will not result in a student being removed from their instructional program, and it won't impact any other opportunities. We hope the information provided here helps with clarifying the SST process. If you have questions about the Student Success Team or would like additional information, please contact your school's SST coordinator or your principal. Thank you for viewing.